Hey guys, UC here from iTradePrice. It is Sunday, February 5th, a little after 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Let us get started with our weekly review of the charts. Let me see if I can get the... All right. So what you're looking at is a chart of QQQ, daily view on the left, and we have a weekly view here on the right side, right? So you can see the weekly view, again, very bullish, right? Since the past few weeks, higher highs, higher lows. Nothing wrong with that picture. Looks nice. Stalled here, around 313.6. From a daily perspective, right here, you can see it was a little bit of top wick, right? Maybe expected after a big move like that on the upside. We got above this, what could have been potentially a bear flag top right here around 305, 306. We got above that, so we have some gap to fill on the downside here if market wants to kind of retrace a little bit. But one way of, I think, finding some support could also be, since we have all this support here, right, around 289.9, and that's the point where we rallied from. So the 61.8% retrace of that level comes to about 299, 300 psychological support level, right? So that could be an area you can look to kind of go long and play the bounce if all goes well, right? If I bring in the levels here and let's have maybe a 15-minute view, you can see there's a lot of support that it's trying to build around 304, right? So that means 304, 303. If that support is broken, then definitely we have 300 as the next level to target. If it wants to go lower, that's where it broke out from, right? 296. So that can be another level to target on the downside. On the upside, again, 307.5, 308, we need to get above that. But really, if we need to get moving, 310, 312 are the numbers I'm looking at to kind of get moving on the upside, because this could be a sort of a downtrend line, kind of like that, if you play this one like this. So yeah, I mean, if it bounces from Monday 303, 304, you get a nice bounce, then 307.5 could be a nice move towards the higher end of this could be a bull flag, right? So towards 310, and if it wants to go higher, so something like that. 4-hourly view, again, just consolidation so far. A little bit of weak close towards the end of the day, Friday, but nothing too bearish here until it can get below 303, 304 level. Okay. Similarly on SPY, let's check that one out as well. Let's go into a daily view. There you go. Okay. So weekly, again, pretty similar to QQQ, higher lows, higher highs here in the weekly time frame recently, right? Like this one. 400 is our support now. That was the resistance on the way up. So now in here in the daily view, we are comfortably above this, downtrend line that we had been trying to get out of for a longest time. And now since we got out above that, we have no bearish follow through to any red day, right? If that. So that means bulls are still in control, right? This was the previous resistance. Now let's see if we can build above some structure above that and then kind of try to rally towards 420, because that's sort of the ultimate target, and then 432 if it wants to get above 420 as well. So on the lower end, if I bring in the levels, your support right now is between 410 and 407, right? On a little bit of deeper pullback, if we do the fibs from right here, you look like, yeah, so 406, 407 is your 61.8% retrace. Why do I play that number? I personally find it nice that it's a good enough retrace that you can, establish a good risk to reward over there if you kind of try to play the bounce. Sure, it can go down from there as well, but you're already trying to catch it on the pullback, so the chances are you will at least get something out of it. So 406.7 to 408 is my support. If it below that, then definitely we can target 400 psychological support level below that. Okay, let's take a look at Amazon. Weekly view looks nice. We got a little bit of pullback from 114 after the earnings. but as long as it can stay above 99, the structure can remain cautiously neutral to bullish. Okay, daily view, this is the view that we got. Let me take the levels out. There you go. So, right, we had this resistance for the longest time, this 99, right? We got above that, it retested that, and then it went nicely up towards 114. Ideally, it should have gone towards this downtrend line, but just kind of earnings can be tricky. So now I would say 99 and above, it's bullish, right? If it breaks down below 99, then 91.5 or even the back test, if you extend this trend line, can be in play. But 99 is your sort of a structure to look for support around there, and then we can see if it wants to go back up from there. Lower time frame, let's say an hourly view. Let's bring in the levels. Yeah, I mean, it's just zoom out a little bit. This is the uptrend line, right? So if it can get back above 105.9, 106, that will be the failure of this trend line break. So that means it's bullish. It wants to go higher. It's probably trapped all the short sellers who shorted this name. So that can be a good rally back towards 108, right? But it really needs to get above 106 to start feeling or leaning bullish, right? We have a gap fill here, 100.6, 99, worth a bounce play over there. Okay, Apple. Let's take a daily view. Right there. Okay, so weekly chart, again, all the names are higher highs, higher lows in the weekly time frame, so nothing wrong with that, right? They remain bullish on the weekly level, but since we are short-term day traders, a majority of us are, then what you're looking at is a nice breakout above 150. Now, if we can establish some consolidation towards, or even, around 150, then we can see if it wants to target this higher downtrend line here in the larger time frame towards 165, right? Let's bring in the 4-hourly and let's check out. There you go. So this was a nice channel it broke out of. Now it remains bullish, I would say, in the short term, about 152, 150. And again, if you want to draw fibs from somewhere around this higher support level like this one, I think 147, 148 can be your support area where we can try to see if it wants to bounce, if it gets there, of course. But in a short-term intraday perspective, 152.5 and above keeps the structure bullish. Tesla, weekly time frame, nice recovery. Actually, it moved like what? I don't know. It's like almost close to 200. So that's almost like 100% move, right? In a couple of months, even less than that. In the past 4 to 5 weeks, it made this nice move, big move up. So maybe some consolidation, some sideways move is not that bad of a scenario to play out. So I would say 178, 179 and above keeps the structure sort of nice and bullish. If I get rid of these levels here, there you go. So you can see as it got above 161, it kind of retested that level, got back above that, nice rally, right? And now it's doing exactly where it needs to be stopping at, right? That's where you can see the structure high that previously it got rejected from, and that's exactly where it's not rejected, but it's kind of stalled, right? It paused. So that's not bad. I would say as long as it's about 182 in the lower time frame, it keeps the structure nicely bullish. Anything below that, we can target 170 to 161 on the downside. But eventually it wants to break above 201 if it wants to go and target this higher 237 to 260 level, right? That's where the structure high come if and when it gets above 201. Okay, so it looks nice. I think right now, any bearish day you get, the price gets bought, right? The people see it as an opportunity to get back in. You can see because no bearish trend bar see any downside follow through. This is not a trend bar, but still you can see it's a bearish day in itself. It did not see any follow through, right? So this one right here got bought, right? This was technically speaking a dark cloud cover because the price opened up above previous day's close and then it closed below the 50% level of the previous day. So it trapped, and then it got really, squeezed higher towards 200. So that was a nice play. So now again, 181, 182 is our short-term target to remain bullish above. Netflix, very nice play past few weeks. Again, chart remains bullish, higher highs, higher lows. I would say if you get a nice bearish week, that's nice. Maybe wait for that, right? Because any bearish week you're seeing, it's not seeing any downside follow through. So that means if you get a nice bearish week, try to get long around that, with the support level, maybe a couple of levels below that as your support, as your stop loss, because right now this chart is screaming bullish. Looks nice. If I again get to these levels, it's still in the uptrend, honoring the uptrend line. So I would say 350 to 340 is your sort of a pullback zone to kind of to establish a long trade back towards through 380. If it gets below 340, then we have this gap fill all the way till 322 or maybe even lower that we can try to see if it wants to play that one out. Okay. NVDA daily view, again, very nice uptrend, up channel, no bearish day, sees any downside follow through. The bullish bars, the bullish price action is dominant. You can see the bullish days are not seeing much of an overlap. So that means there's some sort of an urgency for the price, or the urgency has been there for the price to go back up. So not sure when the earnings are low. Looks like 220. So February 20th are its earnings. It looks like it has already sort of started on its pre-earning run. 228 remains our upside structure target, right? That's where we saw the rejection from in the price, right? Back in the April of last year. That's where we got the rejections from. It tried to get back up, couldn't do it. So that becomes your sort of a medium-term target here on the upside if it chart behaves like that. But what a nice chart, very nice, consistent, easy to trade kind of view. And if you can actually extend this one, like this one, becomes your uptrend line, right? So couple of pullbacks, consolidation, inside day, see if we get a nice red day like this one. That's your tell. That's your level to kind of look to go for a bounce play, something like that. Microsoft establishing structure above 257 right here, daily bars, right? If anything goes below, gap will become your support area to try a bounce play. But getting above 257 in itself was a sign of strong price action, because that's also getting above this long-term down trend line. So now I think if it's kind of back testing it, if it gets back above this one, closes nicely above, then 267, 268 becomes your initial upside target. Okay, weekly chart, it's all right. It's not extremely bullish because there's just this little bit of overlap and just the way it's closed with a little bit of top wick, but nothing too bad, right? Nothing bearish even. So I would still look for a pullback to get long. But just want it to be some sort of a Fibonacci level, some sort of a gap fill level. There has to be some thesis if you are trying to play along in this name, right? This could be a sort of a trend line as well if you draw that. Again, it's a little bit of down there, but if it gets there, you never know. That can be your play as well. Okay, let's take a look at SPX. The daily view, yeah, it's pretty similar to SPY, right? Uptrend line broke out of the downtrend line, more bullish days than bearish days, no downside follow through to any red day. I would say 482 is your sort of a short-term support level above which the chart remains bullish, right? So, and that's also where the uptrend line is. So that could be a good pullback level to establish a long position against maybe 40 as your stop loss. But since SPX moves a lot, do consider your capital and your risk level of risk aversion. But that's how I see it. 41.24 short-term support. Anything below that, 480 to 445 is your support area where you have this up channel trend line and also just a higher potential of a higher low, right? So that can be a good play. 43.25, 4200 is your upside short-term targets as long as it's above 40.20, 40.60 and the weekly level. Okay. Here's a chart of BA. Seems bull flaggish, right? Very nice run. There's your pole. And since then, it has been sort of going sideways. This is a daily chart. This 203 to 200 is your support of the uptrend line and also the lower end of the bull flag, right? That's a good risk to reward area to get long below 203 all the way to 199, right? And try to see if it wants to kind of give us this kind of move right here. So this is your sort of a buy zone. On the weekly level, looks fine as well. Sideways, no bearish week is seeing any downside follow through. So this one is the top one, right? We try to get break out above it and it couldn't do it, and it probably trapped some buyers with it who were long on this breakout. And now as it moves down, right, they will be throwing in the towel and kind of creating some selling pressure to the downside. So that could be the opportunity to kind of establish the long position as long as it's above 192 or 190 level, right? That's where the sort of this chart becomes bearish. Or if it wants to break below this uptrend line, then that's sure you can say that the scenario is not playing out. But as long as it's doing that or is above that, you have to give a chance to the bullish side. Okay, hope you guys like this little video. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. Take care, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend.